Assassin's Creed Origins, to me, has always been like a step-parent. No, it doesn't secretly abuse me. What I mean is, I'm apathetic towards the game. You guys know I'm no stranger to a bad Assassin's Creed take. I really do think that this game has aged pretty badly, and I'm not just saying that to be controversial, but I loaded up Origins expecting it to be a revelation for the franchise, and I was met with so many mixed emotions. I felt like I was 12 watching P-Hub for the first time all over again. It signified a new beginning many had been crying out for, but it wasn't a graceful send-off to the old guard. Oh no, this was blatant self-mortification. So here I am, in 2021, to see if 4 years later, I can truly understand Assassin's Creed Origins. This video is sponsored by Dragon City. I will put the money in my savings for when I become irrelevant. Dragon City, in case you hadn't guessed by the game's title, is a city builder with dragon collecting elements. It's free to play and is available on Android, iOS, Windows, and even Amazon. There's thousands of dragons to collect and evolve as you expand your city, and there's plenty of ways to collect the dragons, including breeding them. All dragons vibe with each other, so there's no restrictions on who can reproduce with who. And once reproduction is done, they all come out as cute little baby dragons, but when you feed and train them, they turn into battle-ready beasts, as apparently sending out a baby dragon is morally wrong. But hey, there's several events every week to discover and play new adventures to keep you engaged, and you can also battle in different PvP modes where you can fight against your friends or queue up and challenge other Dragon Masters. You might even find me, although I wouldn't call myself a Dragon Master just yet. Speaking of finding YouTubers in Dragon City, there's other, way better YouTubers than me in the game, including Dream, George Not Found, hey, well, at least I got my name in the game somehow, Eddie VR, and many others. If you click the link in the description and download the latest version of the game, you can claim special free rewards like 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and the very rare Thief Chief Dragon. Thief Chief, what a name. Maybe you can even use your free Thief Chief Dragon to slay me out in PvP. Remember, if you're interested, the link is in the description. Thank you once again to Dragon City for sponsoring the video. So we start off in the bent pyramid, but Ubisoft, I believe the appropriate term we use these days is homosexual. Bayek, our main protagonist, is clearly quite angry at this unit on the floor as he delivers what would become an iconic moment in the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Sleep. I never sleep. I just wait in the shadows, and I will kill you all. Everyone who sniffed the air that day in Siwa!
Denying that Bayek's performance is one of the best we've seen in recent gaming history is like denying that Olivia Rodrigo's album Sour absolutely slaps. Anyway, Bayek is vengeful for something that happened over a year ago in Siwa. What could possibly vex a man so much to the point that he hunts down the culprits one by one, John Wick style? The only possible answer is they weren't subscribed to the Voiy YouTube channel. That was a fucking dreadful plug. Please just actually unsub. I'm ashamed of myself for that. Our combat tutorial, this fight with the big boy, introduces the idea of a more analogous system to that of an RPG, where every enemy is hitting the roids and require you to go on a 25 kill streak and earn a tactical nuke to actually kill them. With that done, I proceed through this cave that obviously has plenty of valuables lying around because this is ancient Egypt, and if Egyptologists are to be believed, yes, that's a real job title, every cave in the land just had millions in jewels lying around with no ownership. Weird that there was also so many slaves and people in poverty if this was the case. It's almost like parts of history are dramatized, because history is written by the winners. Just outside this cave of valuables, I meet my boy Hep-Zephyr and leave him to fend off some goobers. We dap each other up because dapping has been a vital part of alpha male culture since the ancient Egyptian times. The only thing that's changed these days is instead of just a dap, we also crack a couple of claws and stroke it together while watching some white guy sports like golf, tennis or bowling at our parents' place. I call over my mount because I obviously don't want to burn my feet on the boiling hot sand, and I'm expecting a fully western-backed desert horse. But instead, a camel comes absolutely tanning it towards me, and I feel more cheated than whenever I look at my Five Guys receipt.
I ain't got that sort of money.
I'm not paying 13 quid.
No.
Regretfully, off we go, solemnly riding our camels into the fiery sand of the Egyptian desert, where I somehow fail a tutorial follow mission and leave Hep-Zephyr stranded, as his AI wasn't programmed for you to slipstream him. I go back and rescue him, like my parents coming to collect me from the front desk at Sainsbury's after they tried to abandon me in the frozen aisle. Storming back through Siwa, Zephyr, yeah, I'm calling him Zephyr from now on, just tramples many of the homeless to display dominance. An out of character move, but a welcome one as I join him in my favourite weekend activity I like to call trampling tramps. We arrive at Zephyr's gaff, and it's a little bit of a wind tunnel as he has no doors and no window panes. But what he does have is a random lovely woman who just appears and knows how to take care of all of Bayek's wounds. A couple hours later, after some much needed rest and a quick handy from the old gal, Zephyr shows me how to use his new bow and arrow. Of course, I use this tutorial to repeatedly shoot him in the head, rather than do what I'm supposed to. He's protected by some pretty thick plot armor, but it's surprisingly therapeutic.
Could you please not do that?
A few moments later, a couple of goobers show up and tell Zephyr that they just want to chat, but judging by their drip, I'd say that's a lie. It's weird how in ancient times we used to fear men wearing skirts. Nowadays, the only people that fear men wearing skirts are those too insecure with their own masculinity. Like Gary, 54, a scaffolder from Southend who cracks a Stella for breakfast and has a 3 Lions badge tattooed on his calf. A real manly man, so manly that he eats bananas sideways. He says the younger generation are all snowflakes, but he was the one melting when he saw Harry Styles' November 2020 cover for Vogue. Swiftly dispatching of these home invaders as it acts as some sort of stealth tutorial because Zephyr reminds me not to leave the bodies out in the open. So when I finish off the last dude, I attempt to find a great hiding spot, but some of his fellow drip gods manage to spot me and they're not too pleased, so it starts popping off in the streets. Once again, I made light work of that task, but accidentally did catch a civilian woman in the crossfire. That's just the danger of setting up your business in the ends. Bayek is actually back in Siwa to tick another name off his list. That name is Majunaman. Obviously though, due to RPG mechanics bruv, the Majunaman fight is fucking level gated. So, you guessed it, I have to do favours for the many people of Siwa. I've literally only been back 5 minutes after going MIA for an entire year due to severe trauma. What did you do for the entire year when your kids went missing? Just leave them in a hyena cave? Well, that's not Bayek. Bayek saves people from hyena caves, even if they do have dead trims. Bro, you have got the shittest trim I have ever seen. What is that? It's not even centered. The way he's side-eyeing me as well, it looks like he's about to ask me if I got some juice. After saving the kid from any possible hyena threat, we do that awkward thing where you say your goodbyes, but both end up heading the same way. So, although it may look like I'm chasing a child, we were both just getting in some cardio on the way home. You guys should know by now, I wouldn't chase a child while I'm on probation. Bayek is the kind of guy to also collect a dead body and take it back to his family so they can have a proper burial of their loved one. However, in what some might say is poetic beauty, his family are also dead when I arrive and being prepared for cremation. Together their ashes will coalesce to light up the night sky. I'm not actually sure what his close family consisted of, but as I'm gonna guess by these body outlines, this was a wife or husband, possibly a brother or sister, and a child. Although the small one could be a midget, I genuinely don't have a clue, but whatever the case, at least it will burn quicker. After poncing about, doing a few generic side missions like clear a bandit camp and get the blacksmith's tools back, I was finally level 4 and ready to take on the Majunaman. Some say the best form of attack is defense, but I prefer what Bill Cosby says. The best time to strike is when the target is asleep. I spend days learning about the Majunaman's sleeping patterns so I know when he sleeps, when the perfect time for attack is. No, I'm kidding, I got rather lucky as he was just having a kip when I arrived. There was also just the one guard outside of his room. I take him down, and it was now time. But to my surprise, there's another guard hiding in the corner like he's playing Modern Warfare with Ghost equipped. Really, a good assassin should do a swift double take on the corners before taking out a target, but you can forgive me for not thinking someone was watching the Majunaman sleep. I mean, who actually watches someone sleep and doesn't masturbate while doing it? Shaking my head. Round 2, and this time he's awake, so I hit that dude as he's coming up the stairs. In typical Assassin's Creed fashion, I get the chance to have a chat with the Majunaman, where we get reminded of what happened that fateful day in Siwa. A wholesome flashback to some classic father and son bonding time. Bayek does what every good father would do, calling his son Khemu a pussy when he doesn't want to do a 40-foot cliff dive at the age of 7. There's a little bit of commotion going on, so we go investigate on our own, and what would you know? The kid with the dead trim has dobbed us in to some guards. We get absolutely wrecked and wake up being led into a cave where Khemu is also being held. Lee's masked boys give me a small ball, and to my surprise they don't want to play a cheeky game of headers and volleys. They think it's a key to open the vault, and Bayek is the key to the key. Bayek, however, doesn't have a clue what this thing is. Desperately, he tries to explain as they refuse to listen. Khemu, the absolute G, slips us a knife so we can fight back, but there's just too many of them. That's when we see what actually happened to Bayek, to cause him to be on this warpath a year later.
The snake takes that as your answer.
I'd say that a dead son is a pretty justifiable reason to hunt down the men responsible. So with that in mind, Mejunaman, darling, light of my life, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm so excited to have kicked off the Assassin's Creed Origins series. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. Series. I'm going to stick to it. This is going to be another Unity. We're going to play through this game, and I think it's long, so it's probably going to take me about 2 years, but we'll get there. As always, I want to say a big thank you to those of you who've clicked the join button and become a member of the channel. It really does mean a lot. And one more thank you goes to Dragon City for sponsoring this video. Remember guys, the link is in the description and the pinned comment down below. If you want to download the game, it is free, and who knows, you might end up matching up against me, and we can duel out there in Dragon City. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. I would like to just give a big thank you to my motherload Voiy Boys and above, Gerardo Cruz, Björn van den Hatter, Charlie Waldock, Voiy is gay, and the Gamer Teg. Thank you guys for your support.